So I'll be looking at the slides a little bit, but we're going to talk about the huge power of short video. And when I talk, huge is not just a word. It's not a lot of power, it's not a great power, it's huge power. Because if you're not using video to sell your business brand, and your business, regardless of what it is your brand, if you're not using video to sell, you're missing a huge part of your audience. And the reason is that video connects emotionally. It connects through sight, sound, and when you connect emotionally, then ultimately you broach that trust aspect of people. And we're going to talk a little bit more about that as we go on. You all know who I am. We're kind of fine-tuned our tagline of what we're doing, but we're video marketing strategists. That's where we've evolved to at this point, working with different companies. Some of you know and some of you don't, but in 2014, early in the development of our company, we did win a National Communicators Award for a video that we produced, which was a big deal for us because there are companies that compete years and years to try to get one of these communicator awards. Video allows your customers to tell your story. You can go out all day long, day after day, and sing the praises of what you're doing, and it won't mean near as much as if you can get other people to praise your efforts and all of the work that you do. And so just a couple of examples. I apologize. I had this problem earlier. So we're going to have audio problems this morning, but very basically, other people speaking for you is a much stronger thing. What's changing? Video technology is changing everything. Technology is changing. It wasn't that long ago, really, for some of us, and we can remember these huge camcorders we used to carry on our shoulders. Now we have this device right here. Think of this as more powerful than that huge camcorder was. All of us, no matter who you are in this room, grew up with TV. Some of us, the old rabbit ear TVs and all of that stuff, and we were lucky to have 3 or 4 channels to listen to and watch. So we've all grown up with TV, meaning that most of us, because we've grown up with TV, we think of video as being something exotic, something that requires a studio, something that requires a whole lot of money, lights, camera, action, all of that. So as a challenge, what we had as a company was, how do we change that perception? Well, after struggling with it for quite a while, it was easy. We changed the definition of a video production company. And the definition of a video production company for our purposes is anyone that you know with this device right here that they hold in their hand, or a tablet. If it has a video recorder associated with it, they're now part of your video production team. So that can be anyone. It can be you, it can be managers in your company, employees, it really doesn't matter. Vendors, it can be your customers, they're the best source, but your employees, a very critical group to tap for testimonials about what you're doing, because not only does it give information out, but it also lets people know and see your company on that more human level, that individual level. So we've gone from this, and I wish this was working, because what I did is I got President Reagan speaking in the background saying, Mr. President, Mr. Gorbachev, tear down this wall. And very basically, we're looking at our technology as changing the landscape of the world, the way businesses can interact with video on a day-to-day basis. There is no other company that we've identified at this point that is doing what we're doing. So we have an unlimited, untapped market, and we're being very aggressive about what we're doing. So right now, imagine President Reagan just spoke. Okay?
That's cool.
So, one of the things I'd like to convey today is what video can do for you. I'd like to show you what video can do for you, because video, when properly used in your marketing campaigns through social media and on your website, It can increase the appointments you're getting, and from those appointments, increase your conversions, and from those conversions, ultimately, increase your profits. And as business owners, that's what we're all interested in, is increase our profits. And it doesn't matter what your industry, doesn't matter if you have regulations to comply with, there are still ways you can use video in very creative ways. And again, I said your business is your brand. I'm not going to spend a lot of time on these next few slides because it goes into some basics. But there isn't one product, whether it's video or any other product out there, that's going to solve every problem that you have. There are certain core things that you need to do as far as your business is concerned to really make the difference. And some of those core things are making sure your website's well polished, engaging text, photos, video. Make sure your links work. Nothing more frustrating for someone to come to your site, click on a link, and it goes nowhere, it goes to the wrong place. Always have calls to action on all of your pages so you don't make the individual, when they're ready to contact you, try to figure out how to do that. If you have it on one spot, that doesn't serve a purpose. Ensure your website's easy to find. It may sound kind of funny to say that, but a lot of companies do not use good SEO practices. They don't have their website set up for that. And if you're not familiar with search engine optimization, Matt really is the best. Matt is doing ours, okay? So he's doing that for us. Make sure you're optimized for mobile. And ensure you're represented on all of Google's over 50 plus Google index directories. For our clients, we get them indexed on 68 Google index directories to make sure they get the best organic results that they can get. But most companies, you're lucky if you're on 2, 3, 4 index directories. Make sure you're upping your game on social media, but especially with video, because it can make a world of difference. It introduces your brand in a different way to new audiences. It raises the awareness, and then it also reinforces your brand with existing relationships as you're sharing through social media. Always continue to invest in the front end. There are a lot of businesses out there that nothing more frustrating for you and your employees to have multiple softwares and they don't communicate, they don't kind of dovetail in and work with each other. Try to do that. Try to have things that make it simple for you and your employees to work with rather than having to jump to multiple platforms continually. And the last little bit on this is improve ongoing support for anyone, your customers, your employees, whatever that may be. Good effective back office tools. A back office tool would be a product like Our Boss Video, something that actually solves the problem and it's goal oriented and it saves time. We take hours a week, reduce it down to minutes a day. That's a time-saving, goal-oriented platform. And last of all, this really may not apply to you, but for some companies it does. Always have designated people within your organization so that if your employees or your customers need to get answers, they have one defined person to go to for each individual task, whatever that may be. So they know they're going to get the answers. They don't just put a call out and then it just kind of gets lost because the person that took the call, it's not their responsibility, so they don't pass it on. Okay, well, let's go back to video. But all those things play into part on how video works. So, if you expect to affect your bottom line, you need to be using video. A couple of statistics we'll run through. April through November of last year, every day Facebook doubled its viewership of video from 4 billion videos worldwide to 8 billion videos worldwide a day. Periscope, some of you may or may not be familiar with it. Periscope is another video site, but it's, you put the video up and then in 24 hours it just disappears, okay? July of last year, 350,400 hours of video a day were watched. 40 years of video every day. I don't know about you, but for me, I can't wrap my head around 8 billion, 350,400, 40 years. That is hard for me to wrap, but one thing I can wrap my mind around, and that video is where I need to be to market my brand, my business. Because with these numbers growing, and with these numbers showing that by next year, 74% of all the content, all of it, that's being absorbed off the internet is going to be video. And by 2020, 84% of all the content that's being absorbed off the internet is going to be video. huge numbers, and it's just going to continue to grow. So if you're not marketing with video, you will in time, and it's better to adopt it earlier so you become comfortable with it. And that leads me into this. We know that video sells, and we used to think that cost, complexity, and time were an obstacle, but it's not anymore. It's just perceived. So the last thing we need to think about is video is intimidating because we don't know it. We're unfamiliar with it. How do we get beyond being intimidated or uncomfortable with something? We get to a point of understanding it. We educate ourselves about it. And so we'll take just a couple of minutes and talk about it. Why choose video over text? It's easy. It's low energy. You share a video with someone, what do? They sit back, relax, they push play, they're entertained. And why are they entertained? They're entertained because video tells a story. We all have stories to share, and we all love having a story told to us. That's what video does time and time again. And in this telling of a story, the best way I can relate this to you is simply that anyone in this room that this past holiday season, if you interacted with your community or with someone that you know and you did a good deed, you really did something that kind of stood out from the norm. Those are the stories. We all get really hung up about, in our marketing campaigns, about promoting our product and our service, but we fail to do the one thing that's going to propel us even more than that, and that's along with those videos on product and service, share a story about you, an employee, or someone that is a heartwarming story that shows that interaction that's a more, again, getting down to that human level. Because video connects emotionally. And when you start to get down to connecting emotionally with people, that's when you can broach those things that we all know in the sales cycle, the know, like, and trust. And I started the process off today in my presentation talking about see it, hear it, trust it. That's what video does. Video acts as a catalyst for new sales, and it acts as a reinforcer, it acts as of existing relationships. One of the big things that we're working with companies on is using our platform when they get someone in the pipeline in the sales process is to nurture that relationship through video. I do it myself. We just completed a weekend at the Civic Center. We had a number of things to do, and I'm starting the process by communicating back to those key people I want to develop further relationships with by doing a video email to them. And I'm using our platform to do video emails. It's the first step in the process. And then I'll continue to nurture it with more video along with text. I don't neglect text, but I use